It's a pleasure to chat with you today.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks.
It's safe to say that you've played some of my favorite characters from some of my favorite movies and TV shows for quite a while.
Thank you very much.
So I'm curious, what brought you to this project that really fired you up? Because obviously you've done a lot of action, so what was it that made you want to do this one?
Well, at the end of the day, it's always going to be script, right? That's the only thing that really matters. You can have the best cinematographer in the world, you can have the most amazing cast, but if the script isn't good, who cares? It's the foundation of whatever house you're going to try and build. And so I had a phone call with John and Glenn, who had this idea of wanting to do a thriller and wanting to really kind of harken back to the kind of early 70s, 3 Days of the Condor, 60s Manchurian Candidate, Marathon Man, Parallax View, and these were all the films that I grew up watching and hoping, gosh, one day I'm gonna make a movie like that. And so I love that genre. I've had success with that genre in 24 for almost a decade. And then they started talking about the character they wanted to develop and the intricacies of that character and what were his strengths and what were his weaknesses and then just kind of an overall general pitch of what the circumstance would be, which was starting to describe kind of their perception of technology and the revolution that technology has been going through for almost a decade now, and that it's not slowing down, and that people's ability to manipulate technology to their advantage over a lot of other people is a real danger. And all of it sounded really interesting and kind of in that, and I love them as writers, right? So I said, well, that sounds great. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you guys are going to write it, you know, I can't wait to read it, and yes, I would certainly be interested in something like that. I never expected to talk to them for another year. 6 or 8 weeks later, they had a script, and they gave it to me, and what was so amazing was that every single point that we had discussed on the phone was in that first pilot script. I was like, how the did you do that? And I was on board. I mean, the character was so fleshed out, you know, a fantastic facility with numbers, and could make predictions based on those numbers, but it had a very almost, you know, deeply insecure on the borderline of deep-seated kind of problematic neurosis, and you know, with a wicked sense of humor and falling in love with a girl that he shouldn't be falling in love with. He's just a kind of complicated contradiction of kind of one thing after another with huge father issues. And all of those things combined, it just really made me feel that it was a really well-rounded character that I believed in. And that if that character was going to move left or right, I would believe it too, because he's complicated enough. Like Jack Bauer was much more of a blunt instrument, right?
Right.
And I think there was real comfort in knowing that Jack Bauer's going to do this, right? But John Weir is incredibly unpredictable to me, and was in my mind. And so yeah, it was the boys and their script, and that's what drew me to it.
Well, can you talk a little bit about working with Charles Dance and Meta, who is phenomenal in this?
Yeah, Meta's amazing. She, so a lot of the stuff with her was kind of really beautifully woven with this kind of, with her sarcasm and my sarcasm as characters. And look, nobody's been banging down my door to do a comedy, so it was kind of, and I certainly didn't want to do it badly in front of John and Glenn, who are two of the great comedic writers of our time. So to have Maida as a dance partner for all that stuff was amazing, because her timing is just so impeccable, and you know, and she'll do a double take better than anybody in the business. So I was grateful for that. And then Charlie Dance is one of those actors that I've just admired for 25 years. And just, he has so much weight and he brings so much power to bear, which is interesting because knowing him now as a friend, as a person, you know, he turns that on and off, and like a light switch. But it's formidable. And the very first day that we worked together, he had a scene in a Chinese restaurant where he recites these idea of the manifesto of how to take charge of government. And it was a long scene, and it was all him. And he just blew the room away. So, yeah, it was amazing.
That's fantastic. Well, I can't wait to see the rest of the season.
I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure.